rodent.
or potential rodent. Right.
Is that still hot?
Is that still hot? Is that your tea?
Yeah, because you've got to heat your biscuits up.
Let's get the biscuits. Right. Hello. Welcome back. We're just hubbubbing, are we? Right. Get the biscuits out, Mrs.
What have we got? Stroop waffles.
Stroop waffles.
From Holland.
They sound German. Dutch.
What's this? I've got to get them.
Well, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. This is Q&A number 10. 10th in the episode series of you asking questions and we answering them in the best and most stupid and ridiculous way that we can. So, now we had the usual 100 biscuits. Oh, sorry, distracted.
You have to put it on top of your cup to heat it.
Oh, go on then.
Really? How does that work then?
Just this once.
So what you do, you put it over there.
You put it on top.
Is
for
it
a
just
minute.
keep your teapot for 1 minute? Right, 1 minute with some flowers and some music. Right, okay. Back, where was I?
Oh, we were just
right, okay, yeah.
Everybody.
As usual, we had 117 questions, which is brilliant and fantastic, and thank you. But so many of them have been asked before because this is episode 10, and we've answered a lot of them in the past. So what we've done instead is we've tried to pick the most appropriate, the most new and fresh questions we've never had before, and the ones that we think will help the most people. So in this instance, we come through some introductions. First of all, we have the gorgeous and delectable Penny Pitstop. And the rather large and rotund and rather jolly Mr. Dyson. Thank you, sir. We've come a very long way to be here. And me as well. Right, okay, first question.
Fire away.
Oh, straight
in a minute. We've got a minute to win a biscuit.
My mine's collapsed in the middle.
You can eat it at any point.
Jason Barris.
Jason Barris. Hello, Jason.
What is the first thing you would do to a Thruxton? I'm thinking of buying one or a body. I'd like your thoughts.
Oh, Thruxton. I love them.
Triumph question. Definitely one of
Triumph
yours.
question, yeah. Well, ride it first of all. That's the first thing I do to Thruxton. Ride it home from the dealer, and then I have a little look at what you want to do with it. If you want to do touring and stuff, you want to go long distance, then you do a different set of mods, don't you? Than if you're going to calf racer it and make it lightweight and fun. But honestly, just ride it. The first thing to do, if you're going to buy one, is ride it, get used to it, and find out where its deficiencies are and where you want to improve it. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would. I mean, for what it's worth, I mean that's the beauty of the Bonnie range, isn't it? The various variants is that you can do pretty much what you like to.
Yeah.
But I have to be honest, if it was me,
Yeah.
I'd buy a Bonnie and Thruxtonise it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like
What's the difference?
I don't like the front end on the Thruxton. The wheel size is wrong for my mate.
18 inch.
Yeah.
What should it be?
Well, no, because it's an
18, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an 18.
Same, but it's 19 on the Bonnie. Oh, you mean an SE?
Yeah.
Right, 17-inch wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was me, I don't know. I think there's something about
I totally agree with
aesthetic.
that. Yeah, I totally agree because that's right. Since putting a 17-inch wheel on the front of the Scrambler, it dives into corners like you wouldn't believe. It's so aggressive jumping in, and that's fantastic. So in that sense, I'd say look at the suspension and look at maybe getting the front wheel done. If you're going to get a Thruxton, they're nice.
Hasn't really worked.
Needs a minute on the other side.
Needs a minute, turn it over. Yeah, if you're going to get a Thruxton, I would say consider on whether or not, if you want to speed up the handling, you can get the front wheel relaced with a 17-inch. That makes a big difference, I can tell you that, from personal experience. And obviously the suspension, the first cheap stuff on it. Get some tech shocks for it, get the exhaust dealt with because it weighs as much as Hampshire, get rid of that, get a nice lightweight stainless exhaust for it, and you can put the Trix springs, you can get Hyper Pro springs inside the forks, all kinds of things. But mainly, enjoy it. What do you say? Top choice.
Cool.
Right, next one. Are these not nice?
We know this person. Swampy Simple Field Craft Marsh.
Only, right mate.
Ali, should I get a Vespa?
Hang on a minute. Why would you want one? You haven't got any hair, mate. And with no hair to dry, why would you need one? Why would you buy something you don't need? Duh.
Go and buy that Triumph.
Go and buy a Triumph, or better still, buy a KTM and go out in the fire roads and go make some big long lines in the mud. No, boy.
Oh dear.
They're a bit weird, aren't they?
That hasn't really worked. Your tea has to be really hot.
It's got toffee in it.
It's supposed to melt it.
No, just dip it in, it's easier.
Right.
You need a bigger cup, mate. You need that toilet, didn't you? Right, next one, sorry.
Michael Wrench. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
And Melly. He's got an 03 Triumph Speed 4, original 525 chain with a 14T front, 45T rear sprocket. Other than the speedo being off, is there any issues with going to a 15T front and a 47T rear sprocket combo?
What was the rear one originally?
It was 45, so it's gone up 2.
Gone up 2 front and rear.
Up 1 on the front.
Right, to go, they're a 3-to-1 ratio, so if you go up 1 on the front, you've got to go up 3 on the rear to retain the same gearing. So, for what that's worth. I know what you're trying to do. This is about the chain guide, isn't it?
Clearance on a swing
Yeah.
up, isn't it?
On the swing arm on the Speed 4s, they do tend to chew the chain guide out quite quickly because they're quite close. My response would be leave the short chain length, because remember, if you have a longer chain, you will need probably 10 extra links of chain to get round all those extra sprocket size, and that will mean more chain, which means more reciprocating weight, and that means sucking more horsepower away from your ability to use on the road.
So it's sprung weight, which is the worst place to put it.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'd say no, because the sprockets will be heavier, the chain will be heavier, and that will sap power. I'd say just buy a bag full of chain guides.
And they're readily available. I mean, they're off-the-shelf items normally. So.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, carting broke, don't fix it. Next one.
Atom 314159.
Is that his phone number?
And I'm not ringing through it.
Let's ring him. Just bought my motorcycle gear. I'm looking to start riding. So he's looking for a bike. My question for your Q&A is: do you have any tips on remembering to cancel your indicator after turning?
I do. What you do when you're out with your mates, you have a pre-arranged agreement with your mates that every time you leave your indicator on, they come up beside you and punch you in the head.
Really hard.
Really hard, like she said, and then you'll never forget again. Don't you agree?
Works every time.
Detached retina and all that.
Detached retina, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, works wonders for your memory.
Well, you won't. Yeah, you won't need to have an
Why
indicator.
can't I see? Oh,
Why
yeah.
can't I see? You can see around corners then. Oh, mate, just practice, isn't it?
Practice. Right, John Sharp. He says he's got a K7 GS850L.
Right.
He's running a rear tyre of 180/55/17.
Standard.
Looking to change this soon, and he's considering a 190/50/17. What are the pros and cons of a size change? Clearance and fitment wouldn't be an issue.
It's so common, isn't it? So common. People always ask this question, can I put a 190? What they want to do is make the back end look wider, but it doesn't do that, does it? That rubber, that extra rubber on the tyre has got to go somewhere, and that 5.5-inch rim is no wider, so where the rubber goes is upwards, isn't it?
You end up changing the radius of your tyre on the road.
You'll basically take the tyre from that into that. It will make a steeper radius. It will pull the sides of that 190 in and give a more acute loop. That will shrink the tread patch as well, won't it?
It will, and it will change your steering geometry.
It will. It will tip the bike forward because it will stand the bike up. It's just horrible. It's the wrong way to go. If you can get a 6-inch rim from Gixxer 750, Gixxer 1000. So if the GS6R1000's got a 6-inch rim, if it has, then yes, indeed, put a 6-inch rim in with the 190 tyre and you're good to go because you'll have the same profile. But you cannot put a 190 tyre on a 5.5-inch rim without consequences.
Despite what someone down the pub will probably tell you.
Yeah, I did it. It was fine.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the answer to the question. Cheers, mate.
Okay,
Next one.
Next one. Idling gentleman. I've bought, he says, my bike through hire purchase. I'm wondering whether or not I should do my own servicing or not. I'm a competent amateur mechanic and don't mind doing it, but what are the downsides? I just feel that from the off when I was charged £200 for a first service.
That's a lot, money, isn't it?
They always used to be
remember?
free.
First service was always
First service was always free, anyway.
No, not anymore. You can't justify the cost, so what should you do?
The fundamental point here is provided it is hire purchase. That means when you buy the bike at the end and you finish the payments, it's yours, then you can do it. Can't you?
Do what you like, yeah.
Do what you like, it's your bike, mate. And in fact, it's your bike from the day you picked it up, subsequent to paying the payments. But if it's a lease bike, actually leased on an agreement, PCP finance, I think.
I think they're lease plans, aren't
They're
they?
lease plans,
and
aren't
you
they?
don't own it until you make a final
That's right. I
payment
think there are too. Look at your agreement, mate. Get your paperwork out. Look at the agreement. If you're not sure where to find that information, talk to the F&I man at the dealer, the finance and insurance guy at the dealership you got it from, and ask him if you're free to do your own servicing or is servicing a requirement of the agreement. Make sure you check your agreement before you go doing that, because if you fall foul of it, it can be expensive, can it? Because what happens when they take the bike back?
Yeah.
They'll just go ahead and charge you like every service at full price.
But if it's not a lease agreement, the other options just various ways of you buying the bike. It's your bike.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
just
do with it as you will.
Yeah, but check your agreement first. It's all down to that, where it is.
Cool. Right, next one. Obey, Amcal and Shelley says, if you had an A2 licence and had to pick a bike to restrict to the 47 brake horsepower, what bike would you go for?
What bike? Well, the Scrambler's only 53 anyway.
Yeah, just
So-
start.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say most important thing is, if you to go for the bike you want to have, So don't deny yourself what you want because it's sensible or not sensible. Have what you like, because you'll only be dissatisfied with it and sell it in no time.
Yeah.
But it's the bike that is restricted the least. So you buy Bonneville Scrambler, Thruxton, Harley 883 Iron, any of that, they're already 53 horsepower anyway, that's all they had. So when you restrict it to 47, you won't really notice it. It will be like it's unrestricted, and that's quite nice. I mean, the old Bonneville does 110, 120 mile an hour. There's
fast enough.
happy. So it's, for me, the argument would be whatever is the least affected by that restriction. No point in buying an R1.
No.
And then cutting it to 1/3 of its ability. Even if you're not going to use that ability, you've paid for it and you deserve to have it. So I'd say, if it's my choice, I'd just have a bike that you restrict the least, that is already quite low horsepower and something you want. Yeah.
Cool.
What you got?
DC UK 6 says 254 stroke, question mark. They sound like big bikes at low RPM and like the old F1 cars at high RPM.
Yeah.
Why don't they do them now?
Well, there isn't the market for it, is there?
There's the law, isn't it? 125 learner law killed it all. 1983.
There or thereabouts, yeah.
Just before that, early 1983, they changed the law from 250 on L plates to 125. And ever since
125,
then,
12 brake horsepower, and ever since then
That's
there's
it.
been no market for 250s
But
at all
having
in
said
this
that-
country.
in this country. Having said that, where were they? Those, is it in Thailand? The Thai Collective. We have several members in Thailand of the Idiot Collective, and they all ride little monstrous 4-stroke 250s. In fact, if you look at the Thai bike magazines, you can see online, it's outrageous the things they do with them, isn't it? Absolutely outrageous. They Street Fighter them and everything, and they sound glorious, don't they? Absolutely glorious. Little twin-cylinder 250 4-strokes. And when they're screaming, they're just outrageous.
I think Japan's the same. I mean, their taxation laws encourage stuff below sort of 400cc, don't they?
Does,
so there is a market.
Yeah, we've got a couple of members, a couple of viewers in Thailand have said that they can't buy anything over 250 or 400. Well, embrace that and go and have some fun with it.
I mean, that's why the grey import business is big on 400cc sports bikes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the same.
Japan is full of them.
Yeah, but I think it's all down to bravado, isn't it? It's all down to underpants these days.
Yeah.
People want the biggest CC they can, irrespective of whether they're going to use it or not, and that's where it's led to. But yeah, they're fantastic little fun bikes, especially for lighter riders who a bit shorter can't manage a bigger bike.
What are you saying?
Don't know. I never said anything. Just saying. Just saying.
I ride 1,000. What are you saying?
Yeah, or 2,000. One with each leg. Just saying.
Right, I hope that answered your question.
I hope that answers it. Yeah, just the law, that's all.
Sandage, I have an 82...
Sandwich, do you eat them? Look like you had a cheese sandwich. Sorry mate, sorry.
I have an 82 Suzuki GS850L.
Cool.
Shaft drive.
Cool.
Powder coat in the wheel, so I need to remove the cush drive dampers. Can't read my own typing. I think I could reuse them as they're not cracked, but they're quite hard. Would it improve the bike if I installed new ones? But I don't want to spend $50 if it's not going to make any difference.
Guarantees required. Don't you tell me to do it. Unless it's going to make it better.
Down on you.
I'll come and see you. Bring my hitting stick. Right, I would say do a test on them. They're always hard, aren't they?
They're supposed to be hard. I mean, you know, they've got to withstand the power
They're never
transmission
squishy.
of however much a GS850 kicks out.
About 40 horsepower. Yeah. Sorry, just saying. But what I would say is do a test. Put them in, dress the holding up, and you check in for play. And you don't do it by feeling the wheel. Get the back wheel held still by the brake or by being on the ground. Get hold of the chain.
What is it?
The rear
Shaft,
sprocket.
aren't they? GS850.
GS850 lowriders, not. I don't
Oh,
think.
right, okay.
He said
No.
this is a draft.
GS850L.
Draft.
Shaft.
Shaft
Really?
drive.
Now that's interesting. Well, the GS850G was a shaft. Right, okay. If it's... I don't cuss stripes in a shaft. What does it say? Read it
Is this
exactly.
a trick question?
Read it again.
I've got an 82 Suzuki GS850L. It's a shaft drive.
Right. No,
And
that's not a GS850L.
So I
then.
need to remove the rubber cush drive dampers.
Yeah, right, okay. I've got that. I think
Is this
there's
a
been
trick?
a modification on that bike then, because
Well,
the GS850G was a shaft.
It was a shaft drive because I had one.
And the GS850L was the lowrider. L for lowrider. It was a factory custom,
Yeah.
peanut tank, kind of funny cowhorn bars and a step seat, and it was a chain of sprockets.
Yeah.
Okay, well the only thing you can do, you shouldn't have, no, they haven't got them.
Not normally.
They haven't got cush drives, it's a gear drive, isn't it? It's just a gear drive. Don't know, mate. All I can do is say do a test, put it all together, and if there's too much play in the rear wheel, I mean that's all with the gears, though, isn't it? In the diff.
Yeah. I mean, particularly, the GS850. I mean, they're getting on a bit now.
Exactly.
We'll start to get a bit. Of wear
I'd say,
in the
actually,
drive
for
train.
what it's worth, if you've got a lovely old bike like that, it's worth $50. What's that? 30 quid.
Yeah.
I'd say it's worth it. It is worth it. It will make a small difference. You may not transform the riding of the bike, but it's certainly a worthy investment in an old classic. What do you agree?
I think so. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Bikes like that are fast becoming classics.
And I'm going to look that up. I'm going to Google
yeah,
it.
yeah, you and me both.
I'm going to Google that. They
Yeah.
should not have a shaft. That should be a chain. Go on.
Okay.
Are we sad?
Well,
Nerd.
yeah.
Cap
Very
on.
sad.
do we
Nerd
have?
cap like that. I know nothing. Hey, learn it from me book.
Right, next question. James Quartermaine. He's
Cool,
bought a 2010 HD 883 iron. The guy I got it from had a V&H exhaust and Screaming Eagle filter fitted by the dealer,
Cool.
who also put a new map on the ECU.
Right.
He's guessing the dealer's map is standard, so should he take it to a proper dyno tuner to get the job done properly?
No.
What difference does it make in terms of power? He knows that HDs are not about brake horse, but it's good to know if it's better for the engine. It's hadn't even done 500 miles when he picked it up.
Right. Run it in then.
Yeah, no, that's first, isn't it?
Yeah.
First and
Run it
foremost, run it in.
Run it in. Run it as it is to 5,000 miles. And then if you really want it to go any quicker, get a inlet filter. And I mean, if it's been mapped and it's got stage 1 filter, that's already stage 1 tuned. So if it's already stage 1 tuned, it doesn't really need anything. You won't, certainly don't take it to a dyno shop. They don't.
No.
You don't need to do that. Those guys are about independent, unique, one-of-a-kind bespoke tuning, aren't they? They're about setting up something in a unique way. Those Harleys, they're set up, you just plug in a different map into the same as a Triumphs, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Just remap the ECU to a different map, they just download it, plug it straight in, job done. And if it's already been done, ride it. Just go and ride the wheels off it, eh? In fact, you're better off investing your money in some tyres, aren't you? We know this from experience. These god-awful, nasty Dunlop tyres that I've hung on the wall and in the ceiling, because they're horrible, that come as standard on your iron, they're just rock hard and they don't give you any feedback, they're nasty. Go and get some Avon, they used to be Venoms, what are they called
Venoms
now?
Road Riders.
Avon Road Riders now. They will transform the bike, absolutely transform the
And
handling.
braided hoses. I'd say tyres and braided
I
hoses.
think they come with them now. Unless it's
Do
at
they?
10, was it? 2010?
2010 mine didn't.
Right, if it doesn't have braided hoses,
Been seen off.
I am. You said, yeah. You got a second-hand bike there.
I did.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would say braided hoses and good tyres. isn't
Yeah.
it? Actually, do work. Spend the money on the handling, and you can exploit more of the bike's performance. Which is there's plenty in there, and it's definitely outperforms its handling, its running gear, doesn't it?
Braided hoses in general is worth talking about, isn't it? Because we get asked this a lot.
Every
Is
time.
it worth fitting braided hoses on my bike? Well,
Always.
yes.
Yeah. Next. I hope that helps you. Yes. End of.
End of.
Enough said.
Right. Christian Wallace.
Christian Wallace, good man.
He's talking about wheel truage. When and how much.
Good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Good
how
word.
much and when untruage
Untruage. Is
Is-
that like liage?
is
Sorry.
of notable concern. I didn't bring my waffle stick today.
No, we've been eating them. You've been
And
eating
we're
them.
making the most of it.
We're making the most of them. Go on.
Right, start again.
Starting
When
all over
and how
again.
much untruage is of notable concern and should have me rushing off to the local wheel shop for attention?
It does depend on what bike it is, doesn't
It
it?
does very much depend on what bike and what wheel.
Well, it's only going to be on a spoke wheel.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
'cause
if
it's
you've
on
got
if it's
any
on a
at
cast
all-
wheel on a, then you got a problem.
You throw it in a skip. If you've got it on a spoke wheel, what I like to do is, as you saw on the video I recently did, hold a screwdriver or an implement up against the right at the edge of the and spin it. And when you spin it, what you're looking for, personally, no more than a millimetre.
Yeah,
I'm
I
really happy
normally
with
work for about 30 thou, which is what.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
come on.
which is what.
Tyres go
point-
out by that.
Which is 0.8, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
but
you're
when you
just,
look at
just
it-
under a millimetre.
But then you're an engineer, Dave.
Yeah, you see what I mean? See what I mean about engineers, mechanics that do maths. I would say if you can physically see it when the bike's going along, then get it done.
Yeah.
And it does depend on the bike. It could be a high performance bike. The Scrambler now with spoke rims in.
Yeah.
It's a 110 mile an hour bike. They want to be perfect. They are absolutely, less than 50 thou. There's nothing in there, so that's fine. I would say, if you can physically see it, that's enough to take them and get them done.
Cool. Okay, next question. Dave Lightfoot.
Hi,
This is
Dave.
Davron on the forum.
Yeah.
He's got a 97 Blackbird and his dad, Spider, on the forum.
You're right.
Replaced the downpipes as the original wore past it. After removing the old pipes, we noticed the pot number 2's pipe was very white inside. Do you have any
Ooh.
ideas? I'm
Ooh,
thinking
nasty.
new plugs and carb balance at the very least.
No.
Yeah.
What year is it? Carbs?
97.
Oh yeah, carbs. Valve, isn't it? Valve.
Yeah, what you're seeing there is the
Yeah,
result of burning in the pipe.
yeah. You're getting hot gas going down the pipe, way hotter than it's meant to. That's why it's burning white. And what it could signify is that the exhaust valve on that cylinder is not shutting properly, and it's allowing the combustion gases to go down the exhaust. Now, first thing to check is the valve clearances. You should do nothing before you do that. Go and check your valve clearances, and you're looking for number 3. Is it number 2 or 3?
2.
Number 2 exhaust valve. Make sure you have the relevant clearance. Provided you do, then panic over. If you don't, then you just need to change the shim and hope that it's okay and it hasn't burnt the valve seat itself. If it hasn't been too long, it shouldn't have. Hondas are pretty well built.
They are pretty well built.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. Other than that, car balance doesn't really do a lot, does it? It's not going to run hot.
Not for that.
It's not going to run hot on one carb, is it?
No.
You can't make you can't have one carburetor running lean, can you? They all run lean, they all run rich.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to get one carb out of balance unless you've pulled the whole bank apart and put them together wrong. So certainly do the plug chop as well, isn't it?
I mean, plug is another good place to start.
Check your plug's white as well. That should be, and if it is, and that's it. If the plug's not white, then it's burning okay. It's just going down the exhaust.
Going down the exhaust, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just doing this as I'm thinking. If you've got if all your plugs are the same colour, then you've got a valve open, which is pretty. That's not serious, but as long as you.
But given where it is, that's probably the most. Well, that's
more
the
likely.
best place to start.
Yeah, check the plugs. If that plug's white as well, then the whole cylinder's running lean. If the plug's the normal colour, same as the rest, and the cylinder's running okay, it's just passing hot gas down the exhaust, which is an exhaust valve open, which is going to be remedied by, as long as it's not too late, remedied by changing the shim in that particular cylinder, or shims, because it's 16 valve.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, hope that helps.
Hope that helps you, mate. Good luck with it. Let us know. Email me and let me know how it goes on there, because that's quite interesting.
Martin Sykes says, I have a question. How do you cope with tailgaters who are a bloody pain? Looking forward to your new project.
Handful of nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Honestly, I joke, I kid you not. Handful of nuts and bolts. Just drop them on the ground. And it's possibly wrong. Maybe I'm going to get flamed for that. But just 10mm nuts and bolts. Just drop them on the ground. They bounce up, start hitting the grill, and back right off every single time.
And they're so much cheaper than getting the change out of your pocket.
Yeah. My life's so soon already. That's 10 pence over my...
10 pence?
10 pence? What do you want that?
It's always
6
the
pence?
pound coins that come out.
I had 10p in the house. 10 pence? 5p? What do you want 2p for?
Easier to get hold of than a hand grenade.
That's it. Flink. Penny used to be someone else in another life, you can tell. Clink, thump. You know, I think that's the thing, is it? In all seriousness, the absolute correct answer, pull over. Right, isn't it?
Just let them by, let them go.
Pull them over, or pull him over,
Yeah.
take them out of the car and kill them. No. Pull over out of the way. Pull to the side of the road. The police would advise you, pull over, defuse the situation and safely let them come past. That's it, tailgaters. But if they're going to continue doing it, are you on the right road? I saw a 50cc moped 2 days ago on a 70-mile-an-hour dual carriageway. Frightening.
Yeah.
You know, he's always going to be a tailgater, isn't he?
I mean, that's it. Legally, he's within his rights.
Yeah, absolutely,
but
yeah.
You do have to ask the question.
If you've got a slow bike, and you ride, just pick your roads. You know, don't go on super fast roads and sit in the outside lane. But if you're doing nothing wrong and you're just getting lots of tailgating, you get this, don't you? In the summer, you just got to pull over.
They see a girl riding and they seems to bring out the worst in people.
Yeah. If all else fails, and the nut and bolts.
Yeah.
Clink, clink. Don't throw them over your shoulder. That's pretty serious. That will get you in a lot of trouble. But you know, like all these things will. The proper answer is pull over to the side of the road and let them come past. Simple as that.
Diffuse, that's the answer.
Diffuse the situation.
Diffuse, don't get involved in altercations. It's not worth it.
Never worth it. Never comes good.
Carl and Bev 1 say, what in your opinion is the best way to lower a bike without compromising handling? There's pros. There you go.
There you go. Much better. No, that's cool. Works every time. As long as you're not going to take it out. Right. Go on. Sorry.
Go on.
I didn't finish my question.
Sorry.
There seem to be pros and cons all round, depending on which method you use.
Right.
Because some people scoop the seat out. Some people.
There are many, aren't there?
Put different dog bones.
Well, it starts with who. Depends what the bike is, doesn't it? There are options open to you on cruiser bikes that there are not open to you on sports bikes. Also, cruiser bikes with wide seats. When I worked in a bike shop, we used to sell bikes to all manner of people, some shorter than some, and we found that very often with big cruiser bikes, the width of the seat was as much the problem.
Yeah, that's the issue, as much as the height.
Yeah, 25-inch seat height, fantastic, but it's 25 inches wide and all.
Yeah.
So they're like spread so far, it's just as bad. And we found that shaving the side foam out of the seat slightly would work in that particular situation. On others with sports bikes, it was sitting further forward, down into the pit a bit, and dropping the front slightly, not the back.
Yeah.
That worked quite well as well. So there's all manner of different things, just as long as you do. So it's good to hear that you are, because that's important, isn't it? You know, proper control of the bike when it's in paddling conditions in traffic is very important, especially when you've got cambers of the road. Whichever side of the road you drive on, the lower side is always going to be a bit of a shock if you go for it, and you're 4 inches above it.
And you miss. Yeah.
And also your boots you got, remember that? You got some of those boots.
Daytona Lady Stars, I think they're called.
Daytona Lady Star. They've got like an internal built sole that's an inch higher, but they look like a normal
They look
bike
like
boot.
a normal flat boot.
So they
but
give you
inside
another
they've
inch.
got a wedge, so it gives you another inch
They've
and a
helped
half
lots of
height.
riders. You could post that on the net anywhere. There are so many people who give advice, short riders. Works quite well. But as for lowering and compromising handling, well, as long as you do things like work with the damping, check your tyre pressures, check that things are not going to ground. If it's a cruiser bike, they don't have much in the way of handling anyway.
But if it's a sports bike and you're happy with the handling as it is, as a rule of thumb, whatever you do at one end, do it at the other end, and then you're all good. You're not really changing anything.
That's right. And remember, wherever you lower, try if you can and lower the front and the back the same. And then you don't chuck the geometry out of Killick and then affect the handling adversely. It's got to be evenly balanced, and then it will still handle the same way, just with a bit less ground clearance. Great. Good luck with that.
Right, last one for this session.
Last one.
Mark Newman. I'm in the process of replacing my clutch pressure plate bearing on an FJ1200. The Yamaha part is expensive and specified a C4 bearing. Is the C4 bearing overkill, or do you think a C3 would be okay, as it's cheap and readily available?
Right. Engineering question, that's
Do I need to put my anorak on?
You get your anorak on and answer that one.
Notation on bearings. The C number is the internal clearance for things that live in a hot...
C for clearance?
C for
So
clearance.
even I could work that out. Oh, I'm glad I'm an engineer now.
That's it.
I'm done. You've passed. There's your diploma.
Have a certificate.
Have a certificate. Have a cup of tea.
The higher the number, the bigger the internal clearance. The reason stuff that lives in engines and clutches particularly has a high C number is because it gets hot. So the thing needs to expand. So it has greater clearance. If they recommend... Sorry, what do they recommend? A C4?
Recommend a C4.
Then I would put a C4 in there.
Yeah. Yeah. We get this a lot, don't we?
But there is another point to bear in mind. I mean, the Yamaha part probably is quite expensive, but you don't need to go to Yamaha for that bearing. If you take that precise specification, including the C number, to a bearing supplier, you'll probably knock 15-20% off the price.
In fact, I'm going to give you a link here. If you check out their worldwide, post it to you, check out More Speed International.
Yes.
All right. Now, More Speed International, run by Mark Moore, is part of More Speed Racing. More Speed Racing is their bike company, but they started way back as a bearings company. And Mark Moore started his career working for Ashley Bearings, so he's quite a specialist. He really knows his stuff. So talk to Mark Moore at More Speed International. They will give you the right bearing, and I'm absolutely sure it will not be the same cost as a Yamaha stockist, because I believe personally they probably buy their bearings from the likes of him.
They do.
You know, I've always said this many times. Yamaha don't make bearings.
No.
They buy them in. They don't make oil. They buy it in. Anything that's branded with Yamaha is going to be more money because they bought it in. So More Speed International are the kind of company you go to if you're a dealer and you want to buy bearings en masse, large quantity, with your own packaging and have them made and so on for you. So I think personally, someone like that and get the right bearing, isn't it?
Yeah, let's say, I mean, if you've got the correct notation for the bearing, not just the Yamaha part number, you can take it to any bearing stockist.
I think they know it too, because More Speed, this is the link, this is the great thing with Moore's, because More Speed International and More Speed Racing, well, they're a bike company, they do dyno tuning a lot, so you just have to tell them what you bike and they'll give you the right bearing. Don't you think? I agree. Good luck. And say hi to Mark from us. Good.
We'll get our commission later.
Yeah, exactly. Thump up the knickers.
That's it.
That's it. That was quick. How long was that?
We need more tea.
We need more tea.
Always need more tea.
Tea break.
Right. We're going to get some more tea and we'll be back for the next one. So thanks for watching. Ride safe. See you next time.
See you next time.
Okay. Right. As a quick update, we've just gone and got some more tea and some cake.
Oh, yum yum.
And we were incorrect, weren't we?
We were.
The GS850
Not
lowrider.
for the first time.
Not for the first time, certainly not for the last. The GS850 lowrider did indeed come in a shaft drive, didn't it?
With cush drive rubbers.
With cush drive rubbers. It was because normally most cush drive or most differentials on the back of shaft drive bikes, they don't.
Where's the waffle alert?
Well, it's 1,000. Now tell you what's confusing. That's what was confusing was the GS1000 lowrider came both in chain and shaft. So that was the LG, and that really is
confusion.
Bit of confusion, but we're staying corrected. So yes, you should replace your cush drives in your GS850 lowrider with a shaft. We think.
We think.
Even though they cost $50, irrespective.